Hey guys, welcome in. Welcome in everybody. Happy Sunday. Ryan and Momo for the check-in. Harley, get your check-in. Happy Sunday. Welcome in. Time and place. Send the Addy. Pull up. Hi momito. ¿Cómo estás, mi momito? Yes. Okay, see now Charlie, now you have to keep the check-ins. Monte, mi querido. Monte lindo, how are you? How you doing, Monte? How's your Sunday? Exactly. Just stick around, Charlie. We're playing some Peak today. We're gonna play Peak, and then, like I said yesterday, we're gonna play Peak. I'm not as tired today. We're gonna play Peak, and then we might play Fortnite or DBD, depending on how I feel after. I will be joined today by Kevin. Kevin has so graciously decided to sacrifice his time for me. Um, that was Rosa. Thank you, Rosa. Ryan, thank you. I know you're streaming. Don't worry about modding. I promise I'll be okay. Hey, 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 hey. Also, yeah, I'm gonna give Charlie a shout out too. And oh, were you playing Rivals last time? Oh, I'm doing good, Monte. I was really tired this weekend, but I'm feeling a bit better today. I got home a bit earlier. You know, multitasking. Of course, of course. We gotta shout out the homies. The homies and the pookies. Also, go follow Rosa. Follow my Ryan. Oh wait, you're the one shouting me out. What are you doing here? Ryan clocked into work even though he's working. I want Ryan to enjoy his stream. But go hang out with Ryan. Oh, are you playing DVD now? Are you done with Final Fantasy? Oh, you are. Got a whole lobby, huh? If I was playing DBD, I would join. Run back the Friday games. Oh, the game. Perhaps because the Final Fantasy game is not working. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me text Skya. Thank you for lurking, friend. I hope you're feeling okay today. Let me text Kevin. Oh, Kevin. Kevin, ven acá. Estamos esperando por ti. Monte, how was your weekend? What'd you get into this weekend? Did you get groceries? Did you run errands? Did you get to sleep a lot? Did you hang out with your dog this weekend? Charlie, how was your weekend too? What were you up to this weekend? Once Kevin has told me about his whereabouts, I will switch over to him. I need to wipe my table down. The desk. I need to clean up. Oh, I have a little drink on my side. Loki, streaming later for community night? Oh, what are you streaming with the community today? Do you just do variety games with them, or is it more like Fortnite lobbies and you like rotate people in and out? I haven't played Fort Rivals and Fortnite. Okay, so it's pretty much like a rotating lobby for both. That's cool. It was good. I played a lot of NT this weekend. Ooh, okay. Before he leaves you for 3 weeks? What? Where's he going? Have you been liking NTE? I just looked it up. Hack and slash game. Oh, it's an open world. He's going to Japan? Oh my god, that sounds like so much fun. GTA and Genshin. If GTA and Genshin had a baby. They like 2 to 3 streaming games. Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I don't really have like a formal like community games day set, but I feel like most of my days most of my days I or most of my streams I just kind of open the lobbies up to friends every time. Hi guys. I forgot what peak is. It's pretty much it's like only up, you know? You just got to make it to the top. I have it open right now. I forgot the controls. Okay, spacebar. Has anything changed at all? Oh, my little character's so cute. Where's Kevin? And of course, oh, I'm opening up peak. All right, let's get Kevin in here. Oh, I see. Good looking, bro. I'm good looking, bro. It's kind of like only up. Did I say bro? I definitely didn't say bro. That is not in my vocabulary. Hi, Kevin. Smacks ass. Can you get me in, please? Yeah. Here, Kevin. Oh, Kevin. Kevin, you have a mushroom on your head. Be careful. Another hyperfixation emo? Is it the ass slapping one? Is that
Wait,
Mama?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
Hold on, hold on. Okay, hello.
Hello.
What's
You can hear
up?
me.
Yes.
You have a mushroom on your head. Be careful. These my
I
babies.
do.
The Naruto twerk.
I didn't notice.
Did you... and Momo's ass smacking one. Yeah, Momo's peaches are cute.
What did
Momo
I
has the cutest
do?
peaches.
I honestly forgot how to play this
Okay,
game.
so one, if you like, open up your passport and we'll put it on the easy level. We should take pictures.
Yes.
They added a photo booth. Monte, I'm glad we could provide all these like hyperfixation. Emoto brought me to Twitch, Loki.
Dude, I just found out today you could use Twitch emotes
In Discord?
in iMessage.
What?
Yes!
I didn't know that.
Like if you go to iMessage and you
Here,
push
come
like the
here.
little plus, you could and you scroll all the way down. You know where you get your like gifts from? There's a
Yeah.
one that's specifically for Twitch.
Oh, really? I forgot how to
Yeah.
open my wheel. Oh,
How do you open the wheel?
backflip. Oh shit, I fell.
R.
It's R, yeah, yeah. Alright,
Mm,
Kevin, we're noobs.
period.
Taking pictures. Oh, put your book away. Hit one.
Oh my god, that's why I was all chueco. I was like, what the fuck is going
You're like,
on?
why can't I get
I
this
had
book
my
out of my
handy
hand?
dandy, yeah. I had my handy dandy
No,
notebook. Fuck.
literally.
I was like, what the fuck? Why did I look all chueco in the fucking mirror?
um,
Oh shit.
yeah, let's do the default. I think the default will be fine. What am I up to? I'm on
Yeah,
level
yeah, yeah.
5
I'll do
of
whatever.
7
How do you know?
because every time you get past a peak, you get a level upgrade. So I'm on a set 5. You can check
but
check
where do
check
you
the
see
kiosk.
that?
Check the kiosk. It'll tell you. And then hit the arrow keys to see how far.
Mine just says
Does it just say peak and then nothing
Tadpole
else?
Scout. Yeah.
Where are you? It says Tenderfoot, right? Este, what's up, Este? What's up? Welcome in. Welcome back.
Literally, the first one says Tenderfoot, and the
Right?
second one just says Peak.
And then you've never peaked on peak?
I peaked, but not by myself.
So what? You probably just did it on Tenderfoot then.
Maybe.
Okay, we're gonna get past the default level today. I'm confident.
You're gonna
It's
help
not that hard.
me?
Yeah, of course. And I forgot to grab. Oh, there you go. The power of friendship.
The power of friendship.
Interlock
Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah.
Oh, they actually are kind of interlocked.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Esther?
Yeah.
Thank you for the check-in. All right, let's go. We got this.
We got this.
Oh, Kevin, how are you? How's Disneyland? Was it fun? Yeah. Oh, Kevin can't hear me because we're on a loading screen. Oh, they about to be sick of me. Exactly, Monte. I forgot we couldn't talk. I forgot we couldn't talk in the loading screen.
How the fuck did you get the vampire tooth?
Wouldn't you like to know? I actually don't know. You would have to look it up. I love this game. I haven't played Peak in so long. Okay, we're taking Bing Bong. Do you want to carry the backpack or should I?
It's up to you. I don't mind either or.
Alright, I'll grab it this time. Let's look at another one.
That's a bit torn.
And then I'll take the rope.
Okay.
And then okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna make the coconuts first. Like cook the coconut.
Okay.
Oh, fuck! Este, how are you doing?
Fucking A!
Este, I saw you were streaming the other day and I had you tapped up. But I didn't chat in it. So sorry. I'm really a professional lurker.
Alright.
So you have to double cook everything, okay?
Wait, double cook?
Yeah, here, look. Yeah, everything can get well done. I forgot how to drop. Oh.
Gracias.
So everything can be well done, and that'll just boost everything.
Okay.
Oh, there's tons of coconuts here. Yeah, we should just eat and cook all these coconuts, and we'll be max stamina.
There's a red crispberry right there too. Eat this.
Oh, feed me.
There we go.
I have so many coconuts.
You put the lime in the coconut.
A lime in the coconut.
Okay. 1, 2. Okay. How much stamina do you need?
I'm about to eat all my coconuts now.
Do it. I'm pretty good.
Oh, you have max stamina already?
I'm good. I have like a little bit more than half.
Okay, nice. There's 2 more here if you want. They're well done. Oh, that bit pretty much got me to max. Do you want that one? Oh.
You want that one? Because you can't have it, bitch. That's what it's giving me.
Yeah, have it. Let's go. I have to grab the backpack. Alright, Bing Bong, you're coming with us, ho. So basically, every time you complete a peak, there's a new rule that's added to the game that makes it more difficult. So like things are heavier, you take more damage when you fall, you get hungry faster.
Look at you being cracked at the game.
Yeah, so literally the most recent one we just did was get to the top, but we had to bring our own flare. Like we had to find a flare on the way up and bring it.
Oh, like you weren't given one at the
end? No. So if we didn't have a flare, it wouldn't have mattered.
But did you guys have flares?
Oh, of course we did. Well, yes.
Period. Well, yes.
That's why I'm a level 7. But they all compound, so like the rules just get added to each other instead of replacing. I hope. Okay, so then have you played? Oh yeah, we played the new map. That, like,
the fucking mushroom.
Dude,
bitch?
I hate that map so much.
I've never passed it.
I don't think I've passed it either. I think I've always died, and my friends have gotten past it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm on the other side.
That.
Oh no, Kevin. Did you take damage?
No.
Oh, nice. Give me your hand. Oh, thank you.
We got you.
Go ahead, eat all the coconut.
I like how I said we got you, like there's multiple people with me.
Oh.
It's just me and my 4 different personalities.
I literally say that all the time. I literally go, every time I say we, I mean me and all the people inside my head.
That.
Here, I think we can go.
Okay, so how do... Okay, let's go.
Figure it out, though.
Yeah. Wait, so how have you been? How's everything?
Good. I had work this morning, but I went in earlier so I could... Oh, I make it up without going into extra.
Ugh.
I think there's another ledge up here. And work was good. The weather has just been fucking crazy, and like I work at a landscaping store, so it's just like a lot of preparing the merchandise. Then I think we can climb onto the bridge from here. Hold on, can I climb up?
Okay, I'll wait for you down here.
Yeah.
Are you okay? You're still climbing on the bridge. There
Like
you
the
go.
way I was stuck, I tried to unstuck myself. Okay. Yeah, there's spikes, but I can bring pull a rope down. A little bit of rope. If you can climb onto the bridge. And then tell me where the rope, like how much rope.
Wait, no, I can make it. I can make it.
Oh,
I can make it. Trust.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have a backpack, remember?
Oh, great.
There we go.
Oh shit, I almost stepped into that spike. I haven't seen a single other bag. A single suitcase.
Because they're silencing us. The music? Why is the music getting more intense?
The music's getting more intense.
I hear it.
Oh, it does that over time. How come I didn't hear that? I love when it does that. It just does that over time. And this.
I'm like, why?
It's the crash.
Why?
It's
Does
the
that mean the
crash through.
fog's rising?
The crash through music.
Ew! Don't even save that. I'm gonna see this fucking weed be flying everywhere.
That's how it sounds to me.
It does actually. Okay.
I'm just gonna go
Left or
straight
right?
up. Yeah, left here.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's like riding a bike.
Literally, the last time I played it was with you, I think.
Period.
I haven't played this shit in forever.
In like forever. Well, we're all grown up now. Okay, I did go into some of my. Oh, did you make it up?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So smart. So smart.
Should we go?
Yeah, I'm gonna
and
try to
up?
make it up there.
Okay.
Oh, that was easy. Easier than I thought. Oh, I have to hit this ledge here.
Ugh.
Oh, there's no ledge here. There's no ledge here. Mistakes were made. Did I get above you? There's a ledge here. There's a ledge here. I had to like crawl, like swing my body like across.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then there's a bag. Oh my god, a suitcase.
Finally. Grab my hand, my strong hand.
I got you.
There we go.
I got your mushroom head.
My mushroom head? Oh my god, that's crazy.
Oh, food. You want some sports
Good.
drink?
Yeah, I got it.
I can drink the energy drink, I guess. Just gonna go nice.
Just for a little bit.
Speed run!
Oh my god, I see crisp berries. I need one.
Or are you hungry?
A little bit.
I think we can go left. Let's go up this way. We can get those berries too.
Yeah! Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have one too.
And then we're almost to the top, so we
Yeah,
can have
literally.
the...
Oh look, we literally can see the smoke right there.
Oh my god, dead ass.
Hold on, let's put this
I
Look,
feel like
we
I'm
did
doing the
it.
divergent scream. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Please.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. That's too much.
Should I do it for the plot?
Oh,
Be honest.
do it! Do it for the plot! We have bandages. Just heal yourself out. What do you get? A crystal ball.
Okay. A cursed skull. What the fuck
Oh,
is that?
that kills you. You could leave that shit right the fuck there.
That shit right the fuck there.
That shit kills you.
Okay.
We just walk to rest. Wow, there were no suitcases.
They said y'all don't deserve a
They
suitcase.
said y'all want to starve? Oh, y'all want to be stranded on an island so bad.
Where's Tyra Banks? She has something to do with this.
Easy peak number 1.
Grab my strong hand. Got you. Finally, we did it.
Oh, and now you get a backpack.
Yay.
We get marshmallow.
Period. And what did we get over here?
What is it?
The Book of Bones. What the fuck is that?
I'm gonna Google it right now. Easy.
I'm not touching it. It looks dangerous.
I'll grab it. Let's see. Book of Bones. Peek. The Book of Bones is a rare single-use item that transforms transforms players into skeletons. This form provides immunity to hunger, poison, and environmental hazards, but increases vulnerability to fall damage. Oh. Cindy, this is Bones!
Cindy, this is Bones!
I'll grab it. It turns us into skeletons, but that might be helpful because we won't take like damage. Like we won't get hungry. So if we're running low on food, maybe it's
so right when we're about to start to death.
Yeah, literally.
Just do that.
All right, let's cook our food. Then let's be on our way. Let's hope and pray. It's the better of the two maps.
All right.
Double cook. Don't forget to double cook.
Oh no.
Oh my god, it's the worst one.
Fuck. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Yeah, we're gonna be fine.
I have a piston just in case.
Piston?
The piston.
The piston.
The piston cup.
Okay.
A mushroom.
Oh. I also got a red shroomberry. Oh, it makes me jump higher.
Wait, can we go in the water?
Yeah, we can go in the water. But like, oh, do we have to really go up to this bridge? Be so serious.
I see a medicinal root.
I don't think that's water, friend. I think that's poison. Poison! Poison! How do we get up there? I guess we should have assessed this before we came down here. Surface!
Finally! Here's my name, my homie!
Oh shit! I forgot there's wind! Hold on, Kevin! Where are you? Where are you? You sound so far away.
I'm right here, where are you?
I'm climbing up the tree.
You're going up?
Yeah. Oh, I see you. Hey, behind you. Oh, could we climb that way? Oh, wait. Let's just do that.
I was just going this way.
Yeah, I don't need to be high up above the ground. Not when there's wind. Just like that. Talking about that something. Oh shit! Oh shit!
I'm good. I'm in a crevice.
It helped, like, you lose less stamina if your back is against the wind. You waste more stamina if you're trying to, like, hold yourself against the wind, but if your back is to it. You just climb up here and then jump?
I went around it. Wait, does the water really kill us?
I don't know, it looks like it might. It's pink. The good kind of pink.
Wait, I think I went
I
to a
think
bad area.
I think you're still friend.
I think I'm in danger.
In danger. I think we have to climb up the tree, friend. And then take the vine across. Come back this way. Oh friend. Oh friend. Oh friend. There's a ledge on your left. On your left. No. Oh my god, I saw that. Come back this way. Come back this way. Come back
Look
this
away.
way. Look away. The wind, the wind.
It would be fucking windy.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, we can climb up this way and then get up on the tree. I think that's the move.
Okay.
And then there's a vine up there we can take.
You're so smart.
I'm just trying not to die. I just hate losing on this level because it's literally the second one. I'm gonna dip into extra.
Oh my god, thank you.
Get
Okay, we're fine.
up.
Okay, we just gotta. What if I missed the vine? You know how sad that would be?
I literally, I'm not gonna lie, my frame skipped as I jumped, and I was like, oh, it's a wrap.
You're like, so this is what's happening. Oh.
Honestly, I think we're safe if we like go.
What about these shrooms? What are the red
Some of
ones,
them
good or
give
bad?
you powers, and some of them kill you. I have no idea what those are.
Oh.
Like, I think the ones
I
with the
might have
little
eaten
tornado.
one.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, it gives you like a boost in your jump. I think.
Period.
Like it makes you lighter. Maybe?
Okay.
Oh, milk. And more rope.
Milk.
And more rope.
Leche?
La leche. Oh, excuse me? La vaca. Move.
La vaca. Now where?
This branch to get back over there?
This is fucking scary. Okay.
Me too.
I hated that.
Jump down.
No!
Jump down if you can.
I'm holding on, I'm holding on, I'm holding on. I'm gripping, I'm gripping.
Use those grippers for good.
I'm not talking about my feet grippers.
The grippers.
Wait,
We can keep
where
going.
are we going?
There's a box here, but we just have to make our way up somehow.
Right here?
Can we keep climbing? Yeah, yeah, on that branch.
Oh my god, you guys so far, so fast.
I'm just kind of going around. Okay, there's a lot of puffs over here. I don't think he's safe. Oh, I fell. Oh, that's not cute.
I saw.
Okay, I'm okay.
Jesus Christ, I almost slid off.
Me too.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. I'm gonna eat this food.
Are
Hi,
you
babe,
going back
welcome
up or
in.
staying?
No, yeah, I have to come back up. I just
Okay.
lost my way. Okay. So, what were we doing?
We're checking this.
Do you think we can go this way? Oh, look.
Oh.
Oh, food. Here, I'll hold the bed.
Can you put that in my backpack?
Oh, you have nothing in your bag. Here, wait.
I
Let me
literally
put-
don't.
Let me put this rope in here because I already have one. Then that's it. Yeah, we
It's
have to
like
make
gonna
our
get
way
windy.
to the mainland, like this way.
Shh. Can we go around this
Oh, there's a
tree?
shelf
Or
fungus here. Oh shit.
Oh my god. I thought it was opened already.
No, Kevin!
I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try to grab it and throw.
I actually came to the other side.
Oh, okay. Should I climb?
And I'm just climbing now.
Okay, nice. Wait, where are you? Oh, I see. And it's not toxic?
No, I'm fine for now.
Oh my god, what the fuck just exploded?
Did you just get farted on?
Bursted on me, yeah.
The fart.
When does the thing go away? The pollen.
Over time.
Beaches.
Oh, it happened when you opened it?
Yeah.
Alright, somehow. Oh, we can go down. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Wait,
Then
let's
do
go to
this
the right
way?
side. Yeah.
Or yeah, okay.
We're so smart.
My half a brain cell going over. Ugh! wait, why am I stuck? There we go. Finally, birthday has been mine.
I asked you when we were in the plane before it crashed.
Yes.
How Disneyland was.
What the fuck?
It's the wind. It's the wind. It's the wind.
I was like, what the
It's the
fuck
wind.
is this glitch? Disney was so fun. I had such a great time.
Oh, be careful,
It was
there's a part
fun.
here.
It was cute or whatever.
Oh,
I
mushroom.
didn't run into anybody I wasn't supposed to, which was great.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Trying to think anything crazy happened.
Oh, that's not a ledge.
Wait.
That's not a ledge. Wait, what? Kevin!
The waterfall kicks the shit out of you!
Oh, here's the ledge. Here's the ledge right here.
I literally ate shit because it's fucking water.
Oh, wait. I'm not gonna even risk my chance.
Me risking it.
We need to find another way. There's
Fuck.
another way.
Honestly, where do we go now?
Oh shit! I fell.
Yeah, the waterfall doesn't let you.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I think.
We're gonna have to go left. I have a pigeon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel weird using it now though.
No, you should use it. I mean, this is for you. Do you have a lot of stamina or no?
No, wait, I can.
Yeah, I would use you.
I
use.
use. I'm right here.
Yeah, go up on the left side, drop the pit in, and then try to hit a ledge. And then. Oh, the wind! Oh my god, I almost fell off the map.
You're good?
Yeah.
I hope there's a ledge.
Yeah, me too. But just go straight left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like that.
No, there is not a ledge.
You're joking.
There's not a ledge.
Oh, no wonder.
I fucking
Okay.
hate this place.
I think this is a bad side. Let's just go all the way back then. If we can try to like safely come down.
Yeah.
Then we'll wrap around this side. Purple strawberry. This is fun. That's fun. I have no stamina.
Um.
I'm trying to climb. Oh, this side. Hold on. Oh! What the
the
fuck
right
was
side
that? Let's see it there. You went to where?
I went to the right side.
And you got up on the mushroom?
Yeah. It's windy. I'm getting my stamina and I'll see if I can climb straight up.
No. No, I need help. Assistance. I have to wait for this mushroom shit to go away.
Fuck.
No. Did you just jump all the way down?
I don't want to talk about it. So.
Oh, the medicinal root takes away the
You're not gonna
mushroom.
want to. You're not gonna like this.
Did you die?
Almost.
Should I drop the rope down?
I have like less than an inch of life and stamina.
Oh, okay, I'm coming down. Hold on. You still have the medicinal root?
No.
Okay, hold on.
She gone, girl. Gone, girl. Gone, girl.
Hold on, I'll give it to you. In a
Me seeing your ass twitch as you grabbing the rock. Okay. Oh my god, please help me.
And you have a granola bar in your bag too.
Oh, I do?
Yeah. Alright, we need to find a way up. I'm gonna go around the side. Let's see. Because that's where we were. But the bridge was so close to that. Hi Jam, welcome in. Thank you for the check-in. Welcome in. Sorry guys, I'm locked in because I don't like dying in this place. But I think we're gonna have to go for a second try.
I really hate this place.
I hate this map so much. Thank you for lurking, friend. Thank you. I appreciate you. For coming to hang out. Hopefully you can swing by and catch up. Like, I want to get up in the trees again. I think coming down from the trees was a
Yeah.
Okay, wait. There's a way up here, but this mushroom is so tall. Like, how am I expected to climb this? Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try for it. That's too high up. Jumping takes way too much effort. See if there's anything down. Kevin, I think it's a wrap.
I think it's a wrap too. I think you can move on, but I'm gonna die.
Oh no, I don't have enough stamina to make it up. I'm leaving. Don't worry, Kevin. Come on, let's go. Let's face the raft together. Oh, there's a beetle here. Hey, Mr. Beetle. I'm petting him. Good, Mr. Beetle. Kevin, it's looking like it's a no from me, dog. Oh, Kevin! Kevin! I died. Oh, hey.
What the fuck just happened?
I told you I was gonna die. You didn't come with me.
I heard.
Oh, where are you? How'd you get up there?
I don't. This is where we started.
Oh.
Okay, I'm
just
gonna
let it happen.
suffocate me.
I'm just gonna suffocate. Oh!
Ah! It's happening. We're gonna go in the water.
I tried, but I couldn't make it. Oh!
That's some hard ass water.
You're melting. Oh! Alright, let's try this again. We'll run it back. We can't even put it on the easy level because that's the only level they have. I love this song. Alright, we're gonna try one more time and then we're gonna move the fuck on. Okay, so the plan is not to get off the tree. I think we need to stay on the... No, we get the place. It changes every day, friend.
It changes every day?
Yeah, so this is the same peak for 24 hours. Yes, we still get it again. Kevin! Kevin's like, I didn't know how DVD worked. I mean, I don't know how peak works. Okay. I got sand in my throat.
Alright.
Look, we have different items though. Look at all this good stuff we have.
Let's get it.
What I'm gonna do though first, honestly, we should just hoard these cucumbers, the coconuts.
Cucumbers. You got over there.
Wait, where are they? What happened to the tree with the coconuts in them right in front of us? It disappeared. There's no more coconuts here.
I got the red crisp berries.
Double cook them. Double cook them.
Okay.
Guys, there's really no coconut spawned. What do you mean?
Ken Petrus took them all.
I know. Oh my! She said my coconut. There's no coconuts. Wait, Nada's getting nerfed again. There really are no coconuts, even over here. The game fully said you're not allowed to eat coconuts. Alright, I'm gonna cook all this stuff that we got, and then I'm gonna... Excuse me, holy shit. Kevin, I can't hear you. Girl, what is Kevin singing over there?
You ever seen that movie Just Friends?
Oh, with
Anna Faris and Ryan Reynolds.
No, I've never seen it.
What? It's fucking funny as fuck, but it's just, you need to watch it.
Would it be? You think I would enjoy it? Like it's funny. Like
Yes.
kind of funny.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
There's literally no coconuts.
I know. Like, what happened? Who knew?
They're like, it's because we ate them all.
I know. They're like, oh, you know the strat.
They're like, we need to nerf them.
We were already nerfed.
Ban them. I know.
Do it. Get them out of here.
Dead ass.
The peak devs in their room. Ban them. Get them banned.
Get him out of here. We don't want you around here no more.
We don't do that here. Oh look, coconuts. Look, so far away.
Just two. Oh no, there's some right here.
Hi, Ronathan. Ronnie. Ronathan. I hear Kevin. Kevin. Kevin,
Hi,
I hope you
Ronnie.
read
How
your
are
name
you?
like that every time I type it up.
Kevin.
Kevin, ¿cómo estás, Kevin?
Dude, in high school when I would DJ, they'd call me DJ Kevin.
DJ Kevin. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Ronnie. Ronnie, how are you doing today? You having a good today? A good today, be honest. This is our second go around at peak because
Oh my
Kevin and I
God,
are
Ryan.
trash.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah. Kevin gone.
So I don't fit in there. The game just called me fat.
I hate that I have coconuts, but I can't even.
They're so heavy
Some-
too.
You know what else is heavy?
Oh, enlighten me.
My ass.
My, like it's a secret weapon. My ass!
My ass. Sounded like fucking Chucky. Okay.
Justin,
We went
how?
up the
I know, I
left
don't
side,
want to talk
right?
about the quote command. I'm about to delete that shit. Elements doesn't want anyone making
Who does your quotes?
a
what
stream
part?
element. And I'm gonna delete it.
Elementos.
Stream elements can we jump across?
I think that's what we did last time.
We did not do that last time.
We in fact did not do that.
There's a
so
lot of
far
fucking
away.
suitcases.
Oh, no wonder we didn't find them because we didn't come over this way.
There's milk.
Milk's not
What
even
if I
that
just...
good. Oh! Is it cold in the water? Ooh!
Ooh.
I know you see me standing here. Do I look good, my dear? Do I look good today?
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh,
I'm gonna lose
ooh.
myself.
Did you fall? Yeah. Alright, let's go back that way because we know it's the
Yeah.
easy way up. Actually, we can climb this.
You were saying we could crawl up?
Yeah, crawl.
I totally spit everywhere from laughing.
I hate that.
Oh my god, we were meant to be friends. I'm constantly spitting.
I can't help it.
I can't help it. I have drool glands that are huge. They're huge.
That. I be drooling when I'm sleeping.
Dude, the drool. The drool is. I drool when I'm awake. What do you mean?
I can't help it.
I can't help it. I'm just full of spit.
I'm just super clenched.
Super quick. You're so silly. Ooh, apples.
Okay,
An apple
that's the right
a
way to
day
go
keeps the
too.
doctor away. That's word for horse
Yeah.
girl.
Okay. That was actually a good way. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Like the
Oh
fuck?
my
What are these vocals to? Kevin!
I got too close to the end.
Don't be scared.
I was like, what if I was gonna be like, catch me! With it all sliding, and I was like, oh fuck, way too much.
The way you said catch me and I would have watched you fall.
Oh, shit. I'm fucking dying. Period.
Okay, Kevin, what if I went through with our Kevin challenge? Our Pika challenge?
The Kevin
The
challenge.
Kevin
What the
challenge.
fuck?
The Kevin challenge on Pika.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm gonna pull it off and everyone's gonna play. Like, that's it. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna recruit people.
We need to wait. We need to do that. Honestly, I'm.
It would be
down.
so fun.
Right. I know a lot of people who would be down too, and you do too.
I literally know so many people who would be down. And we could just randomly assign pairs. That would be so fun.
And then we'll do little confessionals.
Yes! Little confessionals afterward or record them.
Yeah. I kind of want to check that out.
Oh, I found another luggage, but it's really far. Hey, puta!
Here.
Do you need to go get it? It's behind us. It's on our left, on our right.
I got a luggage.
Oh, so you're a grower.
Oh fuck! Ugh. Okay. Where are you?
I'm in the valley.
Okay. Definitely wasn't the good way.
Do you see the beanstalk growing?
There's a beanstalk?
Yeah, over by me.
I don't even know where you're at.
Kevin. Where are you? Wait, where are you? I can grab you too. Hold on.
I might be under you.
Oh, really? Wait, where are you? Are you
Oh my
climbing?
god.
Oh, I
the
see you.
beanstalk
I
now.
see you. I see you. Yeah, go up this way.
Ah! I'm coming home.
Coming home. Yeah. Period.
All right, Kevin, you ready for this? I don't know how to use this.
Yes.
Are you ready for this? It's actually a great mobile step.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes, sir. What's up?
I don't want to talk about it.
Did you fall?
No.
Did you
I
take
had something in my
damage?
head and it fell out.
Oh, what was it?
I don't want to say.
Tell me, what was it? What did you drop?
It was my ass.
It was my ass. It's gone. It fell.
It was my dun-dun-dun.
My
Hey.
Shut up. Ew.
No, it was I had a pigeon.
Ash.
Keep on.
Oh, did you just throw the pin into the ocean? Great.
No, it slipped out of my slippery
It
fingers
slipped.
because I'm so quenched.
Butterfingers.
Butterfingers.
I'm streaking. 7 streak. Holy shit, Ash.
I'm streaking.
I'm streaking. Put your clothes back on. Your kid's here. Little baby Kevin.
That emo.
Yeah, literally. Dude, Momo has some pretty funny emotes.
That.
Hold on, we can climb like this.
I think this way I'm going is not the right way, but I'm doing it
No,
anyway.
I found a ledge over here. Ash, how are you? How's work today? You can tell y'all are besties. The giggling is cracking me up. Dude, Kevin is one of my favorite friends, dude. I love hanging out with Kevin.
Ah,
No!
I got
No!
Scout effigy. What is that?
Effigy? Like a statue?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that means you can revive. That's a revival one.
Oh.
So if I die or
got
you die,
that.
we can use it and we'll automatically spawn back.
Period.
Where the trophy is used. Work is quiet, thank goodness. Yeah, I think you prefer quiet work over busy work, right? Kevin, I made it to the top. Are you behind me?
No.
No, Kevin, where the fuck are you? Oh, is that the same ancient chest we opened before?
Yeah, I came from
Okay,
that
cool,
side.
cool.
Ah! Almost there.
I'm not a busy work kind of person. You're like, I kind of just want to sit around and get paid. So trust, we're all on that level. Hold on. Excuse me.
Period.
Look, all the coconuts here. Hold on, wait.
Oh, I need this. What the fuck did that do? Ah!
Get over here! Get over here! Anxiety with the raid! Welcome
What's
in, everybody.
up?
Katana, Spookies, Special, welcome in. Ria! Everybody get your check-ins! Omar, what's up, everybody? Ali, was that Kevin? Yes, we're playing with Kevin! We're just duoing.
Hi.
Ah! Throwing coconuts at me. Don't throw your coconuts at me.
Are you gonna say coconuts?
Coconuts.
Throwing coconuts.
How are you doing, guys? I recognize the scream. Okay, that's crazy.
That's wild.
Not Kevin known for his screams.
Hi, cuties. I can't help it. I'm a screamer.
She's a
How do I
screamer.
put this in this bag?
Screamer? Barely even know her. Okay. You ready to light up the night?
Finally. Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Anxiety, how was your stream? Katana, welcome in. Everybody, check in now. Yeah, check in. Okay.
What? This. Shake ass just like this. I don't know what
Shake
it says,
ass
honestly.
like this. Coconuts this.
Swing dick like this.
TMPFIRESONG song.
I don't like this fucking place.
It was good. I lost all my stream stuff. Right. So it was a little rough but fun. Okay, well I'm glad you got to stream. So how has been the recovery process of all that shit? Like, I can't imagine if my PC ever died on me, I would never stream again. Like, yo, that would be the last time you
Yeah,
heard from me.
same.
Like, I wouldn't be able to even fix anything. It would be a mess. A pretty girl. Like this.
1, 2. Okay.
Okay.
Dad, you're
I'm
back all
ready.
fucking full.
What? I'm ready to go. I'm not losing this time.
Deadass?
And if you don't think we can sing it
I
faster,
think we need to go
you're
this
just-
way.
Yeah, it would help if you just sing along. Exactly. Anxiety, how are you? Okay, besides the PC issues, which I think, you know, you're doing what you need to do to get through it. I can't... Wait, we have to get up to that bridge, Kevin. Remember we saw that bridge?
Where was that bridge?
I think that... Okay, I think we were smart the way we started, which, remember, you climbed all the way down and
Yeah.
you walked across. So let's get to that point, but then I think we need to climb up the trees.
Oh, I
after.
see the bridge.
Like, do you think it's worth getting up to this bridge? Because what if it gets windy? Then what? Then we're stuck.
I
You
just
know?
feel like we need to go to the right side, right, and climb. I don't know. I
I
honestly
don't know.
hate this place.
I hate this map. Anxiety, I need help.
Was it crispy?
I was literally gonna say that.
Anxiety, please come help us.
We've been closed.
The forest ones give me PTSD. Look, this mushroom forest
Yeah.
thing, I cannot be here. It makes me sick to my stomach. Here, I'm crawling down. Ali, welcome in. I know Anxiety's the pro at Peak. I'm just waiting for the day that he's like, hey Justin, I heard you want to play Peak. Let's play. Oh! 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 I honestly thought I was gonna have to work harder to get Kevin to play Peak with me, but all I did was ask, and he was like, "Oh, I can play Peak."
Deadass. You literally said, "Hi, friend."
You
I'm
guys
like,
got
so
this.
you wanna
Okay,
play
you see,
game, boo?
you see Anxiety. Anxiety's like, "You guys got this. I don't need to help you." Kevin already waiting in the lobby.
Angsty said,
Sorry.
"Fuck that shit."
Kevin already had the game loaded. Meanwhile, I had to update it. I'm here asking to play. And I had to
Deadass.
update the game. Spookies, thank you for the check-in. Yeah, guys, get your check-in. The counter works. Trust, and I didn't have to reset stream this time for it to work.
Finally. It's stuck in my head. Fuck. And it happened to me.
Kevin's little mushroom hat. I called it his little mushroom head before.
Oh my god, yes.
Did y'all see this little bitch fall from the sky? He's gonna find us. He's gonna crawl and find us.
Who's gonna find us?
The little zombie freak. Oh no, he drowned. Okay, wait, I'm gonna climb up this vine. Hold on, wait. That is so cute. It is so cute.
Oh, you went that way.
Oh! No! Get off! Get off of me! I'm dead! I'm fucking dead! Ow! He hit me! He fucking donkey punched me! So, I died. Look at this little freak. And why are you smiling?
Fuck me.
What Justin does when I'm already over something.
Justin.
Yeah, I'm dead, friend. Tragic.
Justino.
Ash, I'm not good at this. I hate this map.
No.
I have all the stuff in my bag, too. Hi. Wait, you have the effigy, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Ryan, with a raid, double raid! Holy shit! This is so sweet. Is that you? Now you're immediately blaming the map. It's the map's fault, Allie! Don't you dare gaslight me to think otherwise. My bag is literally...
Run!
No! No!
Hi guys.
Guys, I'm panicking.
He fell. You're fine. Fuck me.
Fuck me. Fuck me.
Okay, bye, anxiety. Thank you so much. Kevin fell.
No, I didn't. He's trying to grab me. Stranger danger. Do I make
Can I really not use? Oh my god! Holy shit! I survived. I got my shit back. Holy shit! I'm better. I'm better. I'm better. Okay, but I'm dying to the fog. 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 Guys. Okay, does the green shroomberry give me life? Anxiety, if you're still here. I know you said you're leaving. Okay, thank you for the follow. Guys, get your check-ins if you haven't already. Thank you for the double raid. Ryan, how was your stream? How was DVD? Were you tired of it? Be honest. Guys, I wasn't even tapped in. Guys, this is not a drill. I think I lost Kevin.
I'm still here.
Okay. I think I'm saved for a little bit. I need to eat something.
I'm still here.
Here. Okay, how far are you? Because I kind of climbed up.
Ow. Dead ass.
Do I have to catch up on shoutouts? No, you don't. Don't worry.
So that was a fail. I feel
I'm
like
okay. I'm okay.
Somewhere.
I don't know where you are though.
Fucking die!
No, don't die! Kevin! Kevin, please!
I just shat myself, but I'm fine.
Hold the fart in. Okay, guys, I never said I was good at Peak. I haven't played in months, okay? And honestly, this map is so hard. I don't know where Kevin is. I'm looking for his little mushroom head. You see my finger? Yeah. I'm above you, I think. He thinks. I made it to the part we were trying to get to yet before, like in the last match, I think. I've never made it past this map, guys. Usually, quote ad. I'm looking for his little mushroom. Yeah, somebody needs to help me fix that command. I want my friends to be able to quote me. You know, quote each other. We see each other. I lost Kevin, I think. I lost him to the parasite. Kevin, I think I'm where we were when we... Do you ever have a dream when you... Biology, please. I need to catch up on... No, I'll do them. Immediately dies. Who else am I missing? So I'm gonna fight you. Oh, look, I was trying to relieve you of your duties to give you a break after stream. Kevin, please. Hold on, friend. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna keep trying to climb up because if Kevin dies, we already used the statue, and then I can just get him back up here. Yes, sir. Oh shit! I have a med kit.
I found a way up.
Are you above me?
No, I'm below you.
Oh.
I came where we got stuck.
Yeah.
So I went through the right way.
Don't tell Kevin. There's a spider. I got you, Diva. Honestly, thank you, Ryan. Honestly, you're the best. Simply the best. Better than all the rest. Oh shit. Like I fear I'm going further than I'm supposed to.
Remember my name. Oh, I see you.
I'm climbing a tree. I use so much stamina to get up here. Oh, an umbrella.
I don't want to get burned.
Hi, Kevin. Oh, am I happy to see you? So I climbed up this the shell fungus up here. But this is a long climb up, so unless you have the stamina. Like I literally had to use all my stamina for it.
Finally!
I could barely make it to this one.
You're joking! Oh shit! No, Kevin! I have a med kit! I have a med kit! Ah!
Justin, where
Kevin,
the fuck
I
are
have a
you?
med kit!
Did you fucking die?
I have a med kit, please! Go get it! This is it. I can't. This map is too much. The wind is too crazy. The wind is too crazy. Guys. Okay, well. The wind blew me off the top of the tree.
Are you serious?
Not joking at all.
Oh! Your body's trying to kill me!
Oh shit, it's going! Kevin, keep going. My body's around there somewhere. No, it's not. I'm a liar. I don't know where my body is. Why does he sound like that? Kevin, where are you going? Kevin's like, I'm done.
I'm trying to kill myself. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to
Honestly,
be
real.
alive.
Every time you walk out the... Wait, every time you jump into the waterfall. Oh no, because you're out. So Kevin, you want to play Fortnite or what? Kevin's dead, guys. Guys, we couldn't make it past the second map again. Okay. I think, oh! Kevin! Kevin left without saying bye. Guys, Kevin just broke my heart. Kevin said, I can't believe you made me play this stupid ass motherfucking game. Sugar P, welcome in! Guys, it's It's just me now in the airport. Kevin said, "Peace, bitch." I think I'm gonna play Fortnite, guys. Is that weird? Would you guys hate me if I played Fortnite? Well, no. Ryan, are you doing after stream care, or do you want to play Fortnite too? Talk to me, Kevin. Where are you? I'm in VC. Oh, yes. Come play Fortnite, Ryan. Like lovers do. Okay, now I can actually pay attention to chat a little. All right, welcome in everybody. Oh my god, now that I can pay attention, welcome in everybody from the raids. Anxiety and Rosa, thank you so much for the raids. I appreciate y'all. My name is Justin for all of you who are new here. I kind of just do this for fun to meet new people. I try to like use my Twitch as like a bar. Like people can come, chill, they don't have to say anything, and it's really just here a time for me to hang out with like online friends and meet new people. We play a lot of Dead by Daylight and Pokemon on stream. But we hadn't played Peak in a while, and I needed to play today. I literally said on stream yesterday, I was like, I kind of want to play Peak tomorrow. Um, just tired in general, so it was a short stream. Okay, I'm sorry you're tired, friend. I hope if you do need a rest, like no pressure on playing, but obviously you can play. In the Arms of the Angel by Sarah McLaughlin. Dude, I can't. I'm gonna have to practice Peak some more. We're probably just gonna have to start playing Peak more. Ash is so like guy, problem solved. Hi Spookies, welcome in. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I missed all the chat. I'm loading. I'm loading. We seen you from Across Survive, and you. I thought your hat said Vanderpump. Vanderpump rules. No, Vanderbilt is where I went to college. Back in the day, I was like, okay, Bravo TV. Period. This activated my fight or flight. Oh, is it a new season? Oh, it's the Star Wars.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
That was a lot for something I'm not
That
interested
game was
in.
a lot.
Oh yeah, Peak was a lot too. Oh, I got a fox! How did that happen? And a fish stick. Wait, this is cute. Alright, let's get Kevin in here. Oh, the Star Wars. Yeah, I'm not really a fan. Am I a Nikki fan?
Fuck no.
Period. Alright, Kevin. You ready?
See.
You ready to carry?
Definitely
Oh!
not Carrie.
I feel like you played this way sooner than I have.
What
Ryan, we're in my stream VC. Well, no, me with you. I knew that was coming. Be there in a sec. Yeah, take your time. Okay, why are we buff men? Do I have to be a sexy guy too? I'll be the twink friend. How about that?
The twink friend is crazy.
Yeah, I'll be the twink friend of the group. I can't be a twink in real life, so gotta do it in game, you know. Where is he? There's Ryan.
Hello.
La Rosa.
Not the rose.
What's
but
up?
Period.
Oh, there he is.
Suffering.
Oh, don't suffer. Not when you're with us.
I always suffer.
Guys, battle royale, battle royale. Add. I'll be the twink friend. Okay, I have to add that. Guys, one day I'm gonna fix the command. Today is not that day.
You know, W twink friend, because where would we be without them?
Where would we be without our twink friends to remind us that we're fat?
Oh, okay.
I thought we all had the twink friend that said they were fat when they really weren't around their fat friends.
Oh, yeah.
Justin, you know, I've been fat my whole life. I've had a lot of twink friends. Lil Max Doctor. What is this song? This is too sad to be playing while I'm playing Fortnite. So naturally, we're gonna play Slater.
Play the freestyle.
Oh, it's so good. Triggered. I told my dad I should send the pic of her with 2 ice creams to the doctor. And pizza. Yeah, literally, and pizza. Dude, I still can't believe her doctor said that about her. This little tiny child. This little person.
Wait, what?
So, Allie took her daughter, her littlest daughter, to the doctor just for like a checkup. And the doctor had the nerve to be like, you should probably feed her healthy food so she doesn't get round.
What the fuck?
Do we need to go beat up the doctor?
Oh no, we all beat up the doctor. Trust. We all fully sent.
Okay.
We sent packages to the doctor. She was double fisting ice cream cones. I live. What do you think about mayo on pizza? Okay, what kind of pizza though? I like ranch on pizza. Like, why put mayo when I can put ranch?
Are we sober or drunk?
Drunk me? I'm eating anything. It could be the nastiest thing, and I'm gonna eat it because I feel like I need sustenance.
So, I would like to be excused from this narrative about mayo on pizza. Y'all be blessed. Highly favored.
I don't eat. I've never had mayo on pizza, but
I don't think I'd ever try it, to be honest.
I'm
Kevin,
not sure
congratulations.
if I had ranch. Like, I feel like if I had ranch, I'm never gonna have mayo. You know, like mayo would have to be like desperate for a sauce. Also, why am I eating pizza so dry? I need mayo.
Left it in the air fryer too long.
Okay, we don't have ranch in Europe. Oh, I see, Katana. I see. Didn't someone send you ranch? Wait, did someone send you ranch, Katana? That's kind of funny. Imagine. Okay, that's different. Right, okay, but you've tried ranch now. Like, would you choose
Ryan's
mayonnaise
ranch
if
that's
you
on the
had
table.
ranch?
Wait, what?
Did you have
What
ranch
happened?
on your table?
You have ranch on your table.
Help. Okay, so
Not outing Ryan.
this was fun and this was great.
Ryan's like, I see why I was invited here.
To put away the ranch. And so I
Oh.
sent Kevin a picture and he won't let it go now.
Oh.
Ryan was like sending me a photo. What was it of your setup or something like that, or your
I think
computer or something?
so.
Was it
And
the
then I
was
saw-
it? Wait, is it a picture of his new PC?
Maybe. It might
Wait.
have been that one.
I'm gonna look
I
at the
don't
And there
picture
was-
you
think
sent. me.
so.
And there was like a cup of ranch, like a little, like, ranch, and it had like a little mono on top of it. I was like,
Oh.
"Where's your ranch?"
Why do you have monkey ranch?
A monkey ranch? Okay, so it's Wingstop ranch, first of all. Thank you. The best ranch, and that's the type of ranch I can eat noodles with. I feel like I'm being unfairly judged here. So
Okay,
I'm
okay.
gonna
The
go
picture I got didn't
not
have ranch in
fun.
it. It didn't have ranch, so you're safe.
Okay, I don't do mouse and keyboard. Oh, this is how I do this. Okay.
Oh, are you playing on mouse and keyboard? Monkey
Yeah, I'm
ranch.
trying.
I was just going to ask if it was Wingstop ranch. Honestly, there can only be one.
I
Alright,
didn't know
guys,
that
you
they put the
ready?
supermarket emote in here.
I love how that freestyle played and then nothing. I'm gonna play it again.
Why
Oh,
are we
I don't know how
talking?
to thank them on mouse and keyboard. So like, I'll thank them in
It's B.
spirit.
Tell Kevin knows.
B.
Kevin knows. Kevin will be
B.
your
I'm gonna thank
coach.
you. Hey, Kevin, carry me.
That.
Where are we
Oh yeah,
dropping?
where are we jumping?
Let's go here. It's gray on my map.
You know what, T? Let's have
Because
fun.
getting it by the cup is valid. Getting Wingstop Ranch by the
No,
cup.
yes. Yes, I'm a slut for
Huh.
Wingstop Ranch, and I will always do that every time.
Popping pussy at the Wingstop for Ranch. You heard it here folks.
Okay,
First,
Yeah,
folks.
there's
which one was goal for
pussy.
Ranch? And
Hole for ranch. Hashtag hole for
Going
ranch.
over ranch is crazy.
some people are showing Whole for free. I'm showing Whole for Ranch.
At least
so,
you're
you
getting
know, I
paid.
think I'm-
That's true. At least you're getting paid.
Exactly.
Oh wait, we're in build, guys.
You're showing
Oh,
hope for
shit.
some type of white substance.
Clock it. What was it? It was like the TikTok I sent yesterday. Eating
Which
this white
one?
sauce because they can't have his white sauce.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
excuse. Now
The
what?
perfect timing. It just had me rolling.
No, like I was with my
Oh.
dad trying not to cry.
Did it mark
Nice.
anybody?
Why is there?
I don't
why
know,
can
I'm running.
build? I'm scared.
I didn't realize I had it on builds. I'll change it. I have a very high probability feeling that we're
Me just at the beach living my best life.
Me fighting for my life right now.
Coming, mom.
if I could shoot this gun.
We'll shoot these hoes.
Let's
Both in
go.
hose.
Alright, alright. Gotta get used to pointing and shooting, pointing and shooting.
Are you doing mouse and keyboard too?
No. I'm not that fancy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean, Justin? You're always fancy to me.
Oh,
Oh.
you fancy, huh?
Oh, you? I was literally about to say that.
Fuck,
Yeah.
oh, you fancy.
Nails done, hair done, everything
done,
did.
big.
Got her nails done, hair done, everything. Out here building like a pro. Okay, guys, no shade. I only really know how to build. Like, I find builds easier than zero builds. Is that weird?
No, but then when you're in a normal match, if you're in a builds match, or no builds, then you're kind of like don't have like that protection like you would in builds.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I find it harder.
Should
Ryan!
we do? Huh?
Here, I have something for you.
Oh my god.
I thought I was gonna take fall damage.
I was
for
gonna say,
that.
should we move for the storm? Ooh.
On and on
Ooh.
and on.
I know you see me standing here.
Okay,
On
see?
and
You have
on
to sing
and
it.
on
My brain
and
can't process
on.
the controls fast enough to build. I love building.
Don't wanna grow
But I'm not.
I wanna
Get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take me away.
away. Yes.
Guys, the millennial is showing in us. Help.
Oh, they're back here.
Oh, you guys are nowhere near me.
If they're in the storm for your rivalry, Kevin. So, like, honestly,
I got him.
oh,
My chest fast into some heat. Oh yeah.
You stupid bitch.
Oh my god, Sabrina Carpenter's running down on me.
Who's going down on you?
I said she was running down on me, but she's
Blink,
dead
I'm
as hell.
gone. You are gone. Oh.
Okay. Ryan, you need the med kit. This one.
Give me a sec.
And then I have something for you.
Is it the will to live? Because I lost that.
Max out my ammo. Oh,
we
hell
gotta go.
yeah.
We gotta go.
Gotta go right now. There's a zip line. Come jump on this.
Oh. I thought that was somebody shooting behind us, and I got so scared.
Sweat.
I
I am a little bit of a Fortnite sweat. I haven't played Fortnite though in so long. I don't. It feels like riding a
been
bike,
like-
like muscle memory, but
It's been like what? Like
someone shot at me.
I got
He didn't know.
these.
here.
Wait, where is Justin?
Eat that.
I knew I heard shooting. I'm coming. Don't come
Bitch.
around.
Oh,
Oh.
period.
I got a bucket. I got a bucket.
I got.
I got.
Oh, I love that our humor is the same.
Yeah, we're meant to be friends. Hello.
Duh.
Every time you forget
We
that
didn't know
that's the
that.
fact, just remember this moment.
Where the fuck are you guys? Oh.
I'm just
I don't
flying.
know.
I'm just going into circle.
Oh.
Let's get a little rivalry going.
Boo boo.
There's a car here. Room, bitch.
Bitches know they can't catch me.
It's sexy in my ride sporty. Wait, hold up.
Boom, 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 boom.
I have a car.
I have a rod.
I got a rock.
Oh,
Let me upgrade my shit real quick.
Beat up Chanel's. Let's ride. Let's ride. Yellow Lamborghini, and I don't know the rest of the words.
Me judging you?
I know. Look, I'm LGBT. We should have known I was buying that.
I never heard that song until literally now.
Oh, okay. So we're lying.
The supermarket one?
No. That was stateside.
Oh. Okay. Oh my god, you bought that shit that fast? I literally just saw it right now and I was like, oh, maybe I'll get it.
No, honestly, supermarket is so good. I'm at the supermarket.
Over here. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
For that.
You saw nothing.
Cut down now. How many charges does that have?
12.
So
Oh, our
wait,
rivalry
right
over here somewhere. What'd you say, Orion?
Oh no, I was saying like your rivalry is somewhere back here.
Yeah,
Who's gang?
it's my rivalry, huh? Oh, I see her.
Would you say it's your heated rivalry? Period. Also, there's a blue chest over here.
Daddy chest. Is daddy. I think the last time I played Fortnite on stream, I was drunk. So here we are.
Honestly, T.
I think I was playing a Fortnite drinking game.
Wait, Fortnite drinking game?
Yeah, my friend and I were streaming together, and we were playing Reload. And we had to take shots every time we died.
Wait, period.
And if we were the first one to die, we had to take a shot. We had a bunch of drinking rules. It was actually kind of fun. We were drunk.
There's a car.
Get. Where are you shooting?
Boing.
These shots are making me nervous. Wait, are we going to the llama?
I would have been trashed. I was literally. Oh no, I was just going to the rivalry thing.
Somebody's flying down. Right
Oh,
here.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Oh, behind me too. Not good.
Oh, period.
Cracked.
Oh, hello. No, why fuck me for?
I think it was the one that I cracked. Say crack again. Somebody fucking with you? What?
It's me. It's me. It's my build.
Hello? Oh, no. There are other people here.
Oh, does that not break?
None.
Yeah.
Fucking hate
Go.
build.
Go.
They're building. They're building.
The girls are building.
Okay, I'm rolling away.
Oh, from above. Well,
Well, what did we learn?
not to play builds.
So what now?
To put ZBs on. What did we learn? Exactly, Katana. Yeah, Kevin.
Dead ass.
Dual builds. You gotta put on the training wheels. We're washed. Oh my god, Ali, how was the baby shower? Was that today, right? How was that? Put it away.
You're gonna play the ukulele for us, or what? What was that?
Am I gonna what?
Play the ukulele, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah. Where's my ukulele? I wish I knew how to play that.
Oh, you suck at MC's.
See that nothing on me. At a nursery like plants? Ooh, Kevin G.
That's enough, Kevin.
That's enough, Kevin. Then a cafe there. Oh, that's so cute. So what did you drink? What did you eat?
Oh
You
my
have
gosh.
awesome shooters.
Did you have an awesome time with your awesome friends?
Change your game.
Oh, is it still on peak? LOL.
We're peeking together in Fortnite. It's what we're doing.
True.
Oh.
Whip, lil whip. Ooh, take your pick. I love the Fortnite music, guys. Lil whip it in your cup.
When he's kissing you.
Lil Mac
what's
shirt,
that?
ice cream. Oh my god, that's hilarious. They had breakfast food, so it was like quiche, ooh, hash browns, ooh. But you spent a lot of time chasing the girls. Oh no. Whose little monkey is this?
That's mine.
He's so cute and little. He gave me a high five. The bus driver.
Well,
Beep beep, bitch.
let's go to hell.
Beep beep like a trucker. We're going down. I'm yelling. But
I'm yelling. Pizza.
Oh. Hello?
I'm yelling pivot. That was good. You got me. Sorry, I jumped out of excitement. I wanna die now.
So you are so cool.
Okay, but it's not build, so yes, so good.
Weird. Oh, they're shooting. They're shooting, and I'm scared.
I don't have a gun.
I do, but I'm gonna die right
Actually,
now.
don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't want to talk about it.
Justin. I hear people. I'm scared.
I hear people. Wait,
I see.
where are you? Where are you?
I'm like upstairs. I'm trying to find a gun. Anything. They keep giving me ammo. You know what?
Yeah, there's nothing upstairs. That's where I came from.
Don't piss me off.
There was nothing up there, so I ran downstairs.
No, like there's a chest somewhere, and I hear it, and it's like, where are you? You know what?
Oh god, I'm horrible at the game.
Oh no.
The girls were watching were matching Sango. That's so cute. Wait, I'm crawling away. Oh, okay. Let's lock in, guys. Let's lock in.
I had nothing.
We just have to land nicely. Lock in.
So you mean to tell me I got killed by Kafka from Honkai Star Rail?
Oh, unfortunately.
Is that what happened? Okay.
Hollywood.
Finally!
Finally.
Get out of my head.
Why does he look like that?
Fuck no.
What? You should do festival karaoke. I'm not
Oh my
gonna
God,
lie.
yes.
I don't really like festival. Audience gasp.
Oh. Hey Siri, how do I ban somebody?
Ban the streamer. Everyone ban. Get him
Yeah.
banned. Get him banned. Unsub. Stop! Don't leave me. Don't hate me because I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
How do you hate having joy and fun and whimsy?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't like it either. Katana. No, you guys can totally like it. It's okay.
Hold
I
on,
feel like
let
I'm
me
the
time
odd man
Katana
out.
real quick.
Time out
The
Katana.
music, we're music
Exclamation
power
point
right now.
bot vanish. The karaoke is really fun. Wait, so there's like a mic instrument or everyone has to sing? I don't really like festival at all, but I didn't know there was a karaoke. That might change things. We love a sing along. You have to hit the notes.
Oh.
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Shit, that right? Yeah, wait. 9 minute.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
take my dick to that.
I
Yeah,
didn't love regular
yeah.
festival hitting the notes, but the karaoke is so funny. Okay, Mariah Carey, Avril has entered the VC. Avril is in the room with us. I laugh at all the karaoke
Whoa.
TikToks.
Wait,
I've literally never
what was her
seen.
name? What was
The-
Avro's little? You remember when people thought she
Yeah,
was
when
like
people thought she
not
was
her?
dead.
Yes.
Yes.
What was-
Hold on, Avril Lavigne.
Oh my god, you're fast typing. Hold on, guys, I got this.
I'm in the computer. I'm hacking into the mainframe. Melissa. Her name was her body double was Melissa
Melissa.
Mandela.
I love how the internet is just like, we're gonna run with this.
Theorists claim a
Because, like,
woman
it's
named
almost
Melissa
better.
Vandella, who was supposedly hired to impersonate her, replaced her after her debut album Let Go. 2003. Damn, that's so long ago. I'm hacking into the mainframe. She is. She is dead. What do you mean? Hold on, I went to go buy the
Wait.
stateside.
Did you hear the conspiracy theory about Beyonce?
Beyonce that she's jealous of Adele.
Beyonce. Well, no. What was it? Some congressman was like, Beyonce isn't African American. Her real name is like Anne Marie Lastrasi, and she's Italian.
What
It
the
was like a
heck?
part of like some deep
What
state
the
agenda.
That is so crazy.
It drives me so bad because like people were just like, yeah, this makes sense, and it's like, are we thinking?
Katana,
Are
have you
we
heard
using
this?
our brain?
Have you heard this new conspiracy? I've never heard this before.
Oh, hold on, I will send you the link because
I bet there's a
haven't
whole
looked at
TikTok
I
from it
looked.
too.
No, literally. And that was my name on Dead by Daylight for a couple times too.
Oh,
Where are you, Kevin? There you go.
what's up, brother?
Day.
I hate that.
How you playing?
What's up, brother? I'm such a stuffer. Social interaction, shoulder ride. Excuse me, la
Love
baby.
shoulder rides.
Wait, come. We'll
Wait,
do that.
who are
We'll
we
do that
riding?
next. Oh, la baby.
IRL or in the game?
Thanks for driving, la baby.
I,
IRL.
either or.
Either or, and slash or.
Yes, and
Everything you said.
Finally.
okay, see one. Oh,
There's a
there
whole
are
other
quite a
team
few
here, I
people.
think.
Yeah, I'm landing on this side of town just to be safe.
I'm gonna queef on this side of town just to be safe.
I'm gonna queef over here,
Okay,
actually.
period. Oh, let me not go there because yeah, she's
Let's
not
land
there.
together. Let's land together.
It's too late. I'm already here.
No,
We
we're all
get
together. We're
fucked
all
right
together.
now.
We're all together.
Oh,
Did someone say fucked? Hold on, let's go. Oh, I hear footsteps. I'm scared. Frightened even. Oh my god.
Ryan here.
Thank you.
Fuck you.
Psylocke's almost dead. Oh shit.
I'm almost dead. Oh, my ass.
Okay, where are we?
Guys,
Oh,
how are they just better than us?
Okay.
Well.
so I think it's because we're dropping right where the bus is stopping.
Politely queefs.
Yeah,
Politely queef.
Momo, what is this
crazy.
emote with the rainbow coming out of the fish? That's so funny.
I don't
Okay, yeah.
ask
I
questions.
need someone else to come up with a strategy because
I got it.
think
I
of
got it. I
bad
got it.
places.
I got it.
I saw latte and I was like, ooh, I like coffee.
Finally.
Finally. Excuse me.
Boots.
Boots.
That's my ego boost.
Boots. With the fur. this unhinged ass fucking Twitter post I just read right now.
I haven't been on Twitter in a million years.
It says, "Imagine douching as a waterbender, like you just bending the douche water in and out of your
That
ass."
is great. Why?
Who is making up this shit?
You know, I hate when bitches are funnier than me because
Like,
to sit there and think about that, you're
yeah,
sick.
know
like,
what?
okay, gotta rank
I'm
up in
retweeting
Rivals.
that.
Okay, good luck, Katana. Have fun in
Sorry,
Rivals.
Katana.
Enjoy your ribbles. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We are struggling in Fortnite, guys. This is why I stopped playing. I'm not good at it.
Should we put up Hello Kitty Island Adventure?
Yeah, let's load a battle.
This one
Russ.
says, "This one says when my ex thinks my posts are about him, but I found another man who also treats me like shit."
That is so fucked up. That's so funny. Guess what? Guess who? Real Katana. No, Katana, get up. Kevin, get up off the floor. Hi, Cosmosis. Okay, yeah. Kevin, you have to choose. Oh, damn. Oh,
Oh, did we jump?
no.
Right now.
I did too.
Okay, so that's second twisted.
What?
Because I forgot to jump.
Oh,
You're literally on our asses right now, aren't you?
did they kick you out?
Perhaps.
They said, get the
No,
fuck
like,
out of
I
this
turned around
bus.
and saw you guys jump, and I was like, oh, let me go.
You look so tiny. I am tiny. What do you mean? I made my camera super small, but my camera's been this small for a while. I haven't played with it today. Well, there was that one time.
Oh, there's a crown over there.
Fuck, there's a whole team here.
There is a team here.
Like, I just got blown up. Like, what?
Whose lobbies are these? Be honest.
Why did he pick me up? Dude, why are you being
Should we go to my
weird?
baby MMR lobby? Be honest.
Because Justin's a skinny legend. I can't see your cute face. I'm right here.
Oh,
Why?
that's
Why are they being weird?
Are they
Yes,
throwing
bitch.
you around?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
trying to do the same thing to me. Yeah, they're being weird. Yeah, maybe it is my lobbies, but why would it be my lobbies? I don't play this anymore. Okay, bye, Katana. Good luck with your games. Like, who has better lobbies? Be honest.
Ryan.
Okay, easy, easy choice.
Now my baby MMR. Okay, we got it. Trust. We're eating.
I'm not even a sweat. I don't even play this. Guys, I'm a DBD whore.
Oh.
Who said that? That was scary. You don't have to lie. I don't play this. I'm not lying. I'm not like one of those guys that
It's
like
okay,
lies
Justin.
about how
You
often
just
I
play
play.
it off stream a lot. It's okay.
Oh, I play it all the time off stream.
You just like no, it's just offline. It's fine. You don't have to tell us that you're a cop. We believe that you. This isn't you.
I used to be good at the game, but I'm not anymore. I promise. I'm better at builds. That's what it is.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm highly tempted to really buy Hello Kitty Highland Adventure.
I love it. Honestly, I haven't played it in a minute, but when I had it, it's so fun. It's addicting. Just FYI.
I know, and that's the thing that I don't want to get sucked into it. It's either that or Final Sentence.
Ooh, excuse me. I'm getting hungry, guys.
Oh, what are we eating?
I still have to eat that torta.
Okay, so you didn't even. Hold on. So you broke the law
What did I?
because
What was the
remember I
law?
said it's the law to actually eat in my stream earlier.
I know I'm gonna eat, but I haven't eaten yet. Nola just bought the new
No, you were
content
supposed
for
to
Hello
eat
Kitty.
that.
I was supposed to eat
I'm
it
the
before.
bus driver.
Who's driving this bus?
Beep beep, bitch.
Is the bus still running?
Is the bus still running? Well, is it? Wow, Kevin. Wow.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm getting out.
turn.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
But where are we
Go
going? Literally, that's Kevin right now. You quote all my favorite things. That's why I love you. I think my head is just full. It's an encyclopedia of pop culture quotes.
There's a lot of people here,
And
by the
honestly,
way.
that's so real. Okay, so maybe we don't go there.
I'm gonna go here.
Oh, they're already shooting.
Jesus, you scared me. I'm gonna beat you up right now.
The
Oh,
fuck
you
is
gonna beat up
this?
who? Okay, let's see here. Wait, Kevin, come here.
Period.
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Help. So that was like my high school's motto for my like graduating class, and it like puts me in a fight or flight every time I hear it.
Wait, what was your graduation song? Be honest.
I don't know. I didn't go to graduation.
I didn't have a graduation song for high school, but for 8th grade, my graduation song was "She was a small town girl living in a
lonely
world." Who the fuck is that?
right here."
Oh.
Damn, I'm hitting every shot.
Spider going back here.
Nice, Kevin. I didn't have any more pistol ammo. Kevin, I have pizza for you.
Please.
Come here.
Any
Give her
last
last show.
words? I hate us.
Any last words? I need pistol ammo. I mean, like sniper ammo.
Okay, car over there.
Yeah, I think that's a
I
teammate
don't see
trying
where
to get
everybody
away.
else-
Maybe. I think
Yeah,
they're all
behind me.
inside.
Where are you?
Not me throwing pizza. What am I doing?
I need that pizza.
Okay, she got the fuck up out of here. Hold
No,
on.
I see her. She's over here.
Okay, I'll go pick up Kevin. What's the magic word?
Please.
Okay, Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina Carper? Have you seen that video?
Somebody's trying to fuck us.
Oh, I'm coming.
I need
Oh, Diva, we gotta run.
How do I get back up there to
We're
you guys?
surrounded. Hold on, I got you. Run! I'm running. Oh, hey, so.
You want to talk about it?
Where are you? Did
I'm
you
going
fall
to the
down? Did you fall down? Be honest.
Hurry over
There
here,
was-
right? It's what I'm doing.
I'm
Get
ready.
in here.
I don't know where the sniper came from.
DB
but he
Dissy,
popped
are
up.
you having fun playing DBD today, Cosmosis? How are you? Such a random song choice. Nothing could have prepared me for that. Wait, what song choice?
I have something. Oh my
Oh,
god!
they're shooting. Oh,
You're
shit, shit, shit,
joking.
shit. So you know,
Have you ever had a crispy
For this one,
Kreme?
I'll take full blame for us
You
losing.
ever gone to Krispy
Yeah.
Kreme? Was it crispy?
No.
Yeah, right. Right.
Oh, guys, no. Why did he follow me? I almost got away.
Follow.
2v8 all day. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday made me not want to play 2v8 anymore. Like, I think I'm just gonna play 1v4.
I get really burnt out of 2v8 pretty quick.
Oh, not timeout, no ban. I kind
Oh,
of
don't worry,
wish
I got
that Wesker wasn't kill switch. Like, Wesker would be so much fun in 2v8. How very dare you?
No, literally.
I think it's not fun. Like, 2v8 is not fun right now. And I'm not gonna lie, like, and I'm not the type to rage or anything anymore, really. But the killers yesterday, I think I was the first to die in every single match that I played yesterday. Justin and his DC penalties. Yeah, that's my version of raging. And I didn't DC at all yesterday. I just let myself die. I play it because they make us with those quests, but other than that, I cannot stand it, and they just keep bringing it back. Like, I liked the last 2v8. I think they just haven't gotten it right, you know, anytime. But it's okay. That I prefer public matches. Like 1v4 is fun. Just say you hate me. I don't hate you. I could never. All right, Kevin, where are we going?
We are going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship.
Will we be zooming?
Is Dandy
through the
Strip?
skies?
Yes.
Little Einstein. Yeah, big hug. Is it like the start of a season or something? Like, what's going on? I'm trying to climb up there.
This is just normal Fortnite.
I can't hit a shot.
Okay, shotgun kill.
Here.
Oh my gosh. I appreciate it.
Candy.
Oh, there's a blue chest up here.
The games are hit or miss for me. They watch me get a hook and then chase me to tunnel, and I'm like, dude, it's that. It's really them seeing me in the cage, and then 5 seconds later noticing that I'm uncaged.
Justin
turning
here.
around. Justin, where? You.
Mm-hmm. I have a child. I don't know why that quote came to my head immediately right now. From fucking Titanic. You know what I'm talking about or no?
Yes, it's so
Yeah.
random.
Oh, there's somebody. Oh.
Let's go! Woohoo!
Oh, damn.
Oh my god, they had some expensive shit.
I
Wait,
know. Why
want
they have
this.
this gold? I actually want this. I'll take this. Actually, I like this pistol, but maybe if it was blue.
So,
What now?
What now?
What now?
We're on the internet way too much.
Like quite literally. Oh. No. Go back.
I
Who
wanna talk
jumped in
about
the
it.
trash can?
Who fell into the trash can?
Let me fall
Yeah.
into the X's.
Oh.
Ooh, gag it.
Gag it. Okay, this is the edge of the map of the zone. Let's go to our rival.
The map.
Oh, there are people shooting over here. Oh.
Okay, I think I have time for one more match after this, or two
Okay,
more.
sounds good. Sounds Gucci
Got to
Gucci.
go.
Did a sing.
Asshole.
Oh, art. Okay.
Oh, stove. What kind of name is stove? Are you an
Are
appliance?
you an appliance? You're a flight
Okay,
attendant.
stove. You're a flight attendant.
Oh, my rival's behind us.
Yeah, there's somewhere over here, but I don't see anybody. Oh, no, but I see him.
On my way. Hold on to your chonies. Or as Ali says, calzones.
Got him.
Calzones.
Get that gun. Get rid of it.
Guys, I'm horrible at shooters now. Oh, I can't shoot anything. No mercy decaf.
Uh-oh.
What?
No, I'm not in it. I ain't even done nothing.
Oh, you're a rival.
You wanna fuck with you?
Like, I was just minding my business, and now they just want to kill me.
And now they want the cheeks.
Like, I can't help it. It's the bad bitch energy.
You can't. You're like, I can't help it.
Like,
I was born like this.
like, legit. Oh, there's somewhere over here. Oh.
Found someone. Oh, I found them.
Oh, they're up here. Okay, period.
They were shooting at me and Kevin. They're above you. Cracked, cracked.
Okay, period.
Hey, crack again.
Oh, they're cracked as fuck.
135.
Got him.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
What just happened?
They're trying to shoot us. I'm flying back. They're across here. I'm going into circle.
I am too. I'm going down though.
57.
You're yelling timber.
Just be careful. They're up on this
You better
ridge.
move. You better dance.
That reminds me of college.
Just
I never
dance.
went to college.
Gonna be okay.
Gotta do
The
do.
Cancer concert.
I mean, basically what we're gonna do is dance.
basically, what we're gonna do is dance.
Fucking just.
Honestly, about.
Yeah, because like if you don't like
It's
Sneaker
Sneaker
Night, by Vanessa Hudgens,
Night!
do you like,
This
like,
isn't peak.
Thunder Whimsy? Like,
I'm sorry, I prefer Say Okay over Sneaker Night.
okay, that's
Say
valid. That's valid.
okay.
That's such a fucking bob.
Hi Star, welcome in, you icon.
Heart.
Okay, we're playing Fortnite. Don't hate me.
So do you want to fuck with them on the left or fuck with them on the right?
Porque
I
no
don't know.
sos-
Well, the one on the left is in Storm, right?
How are you, Star? Are you feeling better today?
No, no, that would be the one on right.
Fuck it. Justin's like, we're going right.
Oh. Me not realizing that ended.
Haha, hee hee.
Ah, he's here.
If it's not alright.
Oh, whoops. I used the wrong gun. Fuck. So, Justin, how does it feel being amazing and iconic at this game? Be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't think
Me-
so.
Me
Okay,
traumatized from
vocals.
seeing
Hold
these.
on.
I'm like, we gotta turn it on for Outlast trials. We gotta stay warm.
Oh my god, yes.
Fucking hate those.
Honestly, I love it. Because it's like, it's so silly,
need to play
goofy,
that game
whimsical.
again. Justin, you need to play Outlast
Literally.
trials.
Outlast Child, how
Yes.
much did it cost?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to play Outlast Trials. But
Wait, are you
I don't
strictly
have that.
console gamer?
No, I was playing Peak on PC. I play a
I
bunch of
got you.
Steam games. You got me what?
I think
I
did-
sent a TikTok
Don't
that
worry.
said when my duo says there's one shot and I missed the one shot. Oh. That's so real.
Where the fuck is your rivalry?
I don't know.
Behind
He's
us.
like somewhere in like the buttfuck nowhere back there. Either he's gonna die or I die. Somebody gonna die first.
That
No,
is
he's
so
literally
funny.
over there.
I'm feeling much better, less tired. Okay, I'm glad. That's so important, friend. What'd you get up to today?
I won't mention other world names. You've got to believe this. See you on the other side, Mila. Another fallen general.
I don't want to do this without him. But we will. We have to.
Fighting over here somewhere. They're fighting the bot?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh. And should we help?
Or
I got
Oh.
him.
teammates are flying in?
Where the hell are the teammates?
I don't know, but they just flew in. Just be careful, because people flew in over here.
Okay.
I feel daddy as fuck. Daddy as fuck. I can't jump through the window.
Oh, they're behind
Ooh,
us.
Fortnite. Daddy as fuck. Hey, Charlie. Welcome in. Welcome back. How are you? I feel daddy as fuck. Exactly. Okay. Charlie, you have to come carry in Fortnite. Honestly, I've been playing so poorly. We were having some rough games. Oh, I see them. The gas station.
Hello?
Oh my god.
Okay.
What
okay,
the
so-
fuck?
Yeah.
Over. Dang.
The moment I had to reload, I am sick.
Well, that's how games have been going. You said one more,
Okay, I
Kevin?
could do one more. Oh no, mods, and I have to get ready.
Okay. I saw someone punch you with those gloves, and I was like, oh.
Like it was sick and twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not alright.
Stop, Allie. She's so cute. Is Beyonce an Italian woman named Anne Marie Lastrassi? Beyonce
Yeah, she's
is not
Emily.
even African American. What the hell?
It fries
A.W.
me every
Miller.
single time.
I have something to ask you. I have a question for you. Is it time to go Mimi's yet? No. No, you just got here. No Mimi's.
Ronnie, why the fuck are you trying to leave us?
No, it's Ronnie.
Huh?
Ronnie, why the fuck are you trying to leave us? I did say
What?
Ronnie.
Oh, I heard Ryan. Ryan,
Girl, I'm trying
back
to
me up
leave.
here.
Not on my watch.
I can't back you up. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck.
Excuse me. Girl, I'm trying to sleep. What are you doing, Ronnie? What are you up to today? Whew. Ronnie, I need to eat. Good morning, Ronnie. No, Ronnie just wants. Ronnie hasn't slept. She wants to sleep. Momo,
no.
hi. Welcome back.
Oh, okay, Diva.
Omar and I hella cleaned our backyard, and my sister just left with a whole bunch of junk to toss in the dumpster. Ooh, well, that's a good cleaning day. That's probably why you're so tired.
Can I pick the place to go?
Yeah, do it.
Let's. There.
Vamos.
So I messed up.
Hello,
and I
hello.
did
Hi,
that super out.
JM. You didn't what?
I messed up and I did that too far.
Oh, it's okay.
So I was AFK.
Oh,
Where the fuck are we going?
How's the games?
Here.
Honestly, the games are making me go want to play DVD after Kevin. So, once this is Kevin's last game, and I'm gonna play DVD after. Ryan, you're welcome. To
Yeah. I'm leaving because
Oh my
Ronnie's going to
goodness.
bed and not going to be here.
yeah, that's
So that
exactly
means
why
I
we're
have to
leaving.
go.
Sure, Jan.
So you just hate us. Got you.
I wish
No,
I was
gotta
going
get
to
ready
bed.
for
Oh,
dinner.
I want to go to bed. I tried taking a nap earlier and it didn't work. I do hate when that happens.
Yeah. When your body's just like, hey, so we're gonna miss out on this, so like stay awake.
I honestly, that's how I felt. And then I saw you were streaming, and I was like, well, now I have to go.
Well, no. You can go to sleep.
Well, no.
Don't blame it on me.
You're like, don't blame your
Blame it
mental
on the
illness
good,
on you, on me.
A mental illness
Blame
is
it on
crazy. I would never. Oh, Diva.
Jam, how are you doing
Diva,
today? How are you doing?
Diva.
How are you doing this weekend? How was everybody's weekend
There's
overall?
somebody in
Out
there.
of 10.
Oh, fuck, Kevin. Their teammate is downstairs.
Kevin's over there fighting for his life, and I'm fucking around.
Bitch.
Oh, other teammates in here too.
Can
Look
I
at bugs.
climb? Why can't I climb on that?
Bitch.
Kevin, the way that you ate them up, that was hot.
Honestly and truly,
I was just trying my best.
your poor legs were
Oh my god,
tired.
oh my god, oh
I
my god, oh my
know.
god.
I was literally stuck on it, wasn't I, Ronnie? Didn't it look like a 4 out of 10? No. I'm sorry to hear that.
Who was fucking shooting at you?
I have no idea, but they threw a fucking grenade, and I'm taking that personally.
Where?
Out in the front of the movie theater, but then they disappeared.
I'll find him.
Oh my god, thank y'all.
Oh, I heard that. Oh, they're hiding.
Oh, the rivalry.
He scared me. He was hiding in the corner. You see him?
Yeah, I see.
We just want to talk. You were the one throwing stones.
Where the fuck did he go?
He went down under here.
You see him?
They're across on my mark. He's with his team now.
So we go and we take him other to the left.
Yeah. I'm with
Right
Kevin.
Who the fuck is shooting me from the side?
Oh,
Fuck. They pulled out a shotgun.
got him.
Got him.
Oh, okay. Okay, Justin.
You know, I thought I was gonna get you over the wall. My kiddo
Yeah, I
drew a
know.
hopscotch thingy. Ooh, that's so cute. We love friendly neighborly things like that. That is so adorable. Ryan, there's a little health thing here. Vending machine.
Hold on. I got this.
Okay.
Oh, I made it.
Hmm.
Oh my god, they're rebooting.
No way.
Yeah. I don't really have that much health though.
Hold on.
I have minis for you.
Wait,
I already used
I
my
also got this.
minis. Oh my god.
Oh, Ryan, I have this. Oh no, never mind.
Oh, I'm gonna go down here. Ryan, come here.
Wait, 1 sec.
Oh my god, all of us actually.
Okay.
Oh!
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Hello? Okay.
Ryan, what happened? How'd you fall off?
Hello! I didn't think
Fall off.
Are you
they were
shooting me?
like, we don't need this one up here, so you know, they're valid in that. Hello. What
Yeah, there's a
storm?
team here.
My game is like lagging.
They shot me so much. Oh my god, bro. What is that gun that they're shooting with? Kevin, just run.
It's a rocket launcher.
It's a chicken salad.
Can you pin me some like a place to revive you guys at?
Here. How was your weekend, Justin? I worked all day yesterday and I worked this morning. So honestly, I've been really tired, but today I'm less tired than yesterday. Yesterday I was exhausted. But overall, it was fun. I mean, stream has been really the best part of my weekends. So I'm just happy to be here and hanging out with friends. We played Peak earlier, Ronnie. You were here for that, right? We did not survive very long. We died twice.
Rice.
Thrice. No, it was twice, right? Oh no, I died 3 times. Because you revived me and I still died.
Oh, period. I was tapped out. Hold on.
Oh, love that. love that. That's not what I meant to do. Try solo peeking, but where's the fun in that? I have tried solo peeking.
That shit's
I did
hard as
not.
fuck.
I did not make it to the top by myself, but I made it to the volcano, and I was very proud of that. I made it very far when I went by myself. But I will say I didn't have that other map, the hard map. I wasn't playing on that map, you know? Like, it wasn't the map of the day.
Oh, Justin.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta go. We're fucking over here. Who the fuck texted
Oh,
us?
Oh, wait.
and no invite.
Proof? Let me see. Oh, I see one person. They're heading this way. Okay. Oh, they're getting jumped. Poor babies. Hit one for 18.
Fuck.
Kevin! Kevin, I couldn't get past
I'm
you.
bringing. Fuck, 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 fuck.
No, I definitely need a carry in that game. Ronnie, we should play Peak. Okay, I'll have to hit you up next time I want to play. All right, guys. Well, we tried Fortnite, guys. We tried. No, thank you for playing with me for so long, Kevin. I'm so happy you're not
I
tired of
know.
me. Thank you.
I could never be tired of you. What the fuck? It's crazy.
Ryan deaths through. Oh,
Oh?
not too much of my Rosa.
That's not what you were saying in DMs a second ago. But that's crazy.
Oh,
Oh.
what's happening in those DMs? Let us see. Ryan, I'm gonna switch over to Dead by Daylight if you want. Play.
Okay, bye.
Kevin, thank you for the games, Fran. Have fun at dinner.
Yes. I'll talk to you guys later.
LSM. Bye.
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 All right, y'all. We're gonna play with Ryan. We're gonna play DBG until 3-hour mark. And your butt, and your boy is gonna go eat some dinner.
Your butt.
My butt too. My butt will be eating dinner too.
Oh.
I don't know why. I thought you said BTSM. BTSM? What does the T stand for? Nut us exposing nut. Jam. This is a Christian stream.
A
jumped
Black
off
Tiger
purpose.
sex with.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Oh.
This is.
I don't
almost
have
as
one of
bad as
those.
Donkey.
That's almost as bad as Donkey Punch. Honestly, nothing beats Donkey Punch. Nothing. That's a DJ. Oh. Sorry, I'm not
Okay,
well, I'm not
word.
versed in rave. Bubbles take sucker mamas.
Skin chimney.
Skim chimney. Skin chimney is crazy. Do you want to play regular matches? Are you down for that?
Yeah, I'm down for regular or 2v8, whatever you want to do. I'm here for the ride.
I can't do 2v8. I think I might crash and die.
Crash out. You know that's real.
Like, I was having so much fun yesterday, but literally all the randoms were not randoming. Like, I was looping so good.
Oh wait, hold on.
My
Let me
face.
change my name. One sec.
Oh, yeah. I'll reject it on purpose. No, get out. Kevin,
Boo, boo this
Kevin, that
man.
founder's badge looks good on you, friend. I love that founder's badge. I cannot believe you're like you have a founder's badge in the chat. That's so you've met me 2 years into streaming.
There we go. That works. Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm booting back up now.
Okay, period. Momo, how's your evening going? Not too much. I can't type. Jam, how's your Sunday? Wait, did you already answer and I didn't read your message? You asked how the games were. Okay, cool. I'm not a bad person. Move faster, Rosa Ryan Toki. My night is good. How are you doing, Amon? My night is going. It's going. It's going. No complaints. I'm having fun with Ryan. We had fun with Ryan and Kevin. We had fun with Kevin. Just having fun with all the friends.
Honestly, truly.
My Sunday was good. Oh, that's good.
Okay, I am back and I'm online. And where are you? There you go.
I see you. It didn't change in my friends list. Let's see what it says in
just
the
wait till you
lobby.
get lobby.
Oh. Honestly, no explanation needed.
The silence is great.
You're feeling fertile. Eat those killers up, divas. We're gonna try.
Fertile is crazy. That's an adjective.
That's that's a way to describe me.
That is a way to say something to me in this VC at this moment. Oh, I actually need to get my
Fertile.
phone charger.
Ronnie. Play some games with friends. Yeah, it's fine. Take your time. Should I ready up, or how long will that take you? Oh, and he's already gone.
Oh,
Oh, you're back.
who's back?
Did you get your charger? Were you never gone?
Oh no, I was never gone. I was sitting here. I'm just like, oh, is somebody joining, guys?
No. I was talking about you. Did you need a
stupid.
second to get it?
Yeah, no, I can take a second to get it. Pingus
Trapper the Rapper and Pingus the Freak, they're looking like a duo. You know what? I'll be a freak with you, Pingus.
Honestly, period.
You use 30 bits? Oh wait, you have to use bits to make your emotes bigger? I didn't know that. I thought it was
Yeah.
just something you could do.
And honestly, I don't need a second because like
Okay,
I have a
cool.
wireless headset now. I can move around freely.
Thank you for the biddies, friend. And W emote. No, I love that's. If when I see that emote, it's literally Ryan. 30 bits to get. Ronnie, that is some big bunny booty. Say that 3
We
times
throw an ass in
fast.
chat. Hold up, I got you.
Big bunny booty, big bunny booty, big bunny booty. Oh! Oh! Damn, I didn't know the Among Us freaks got it like that. I am sorry. Howdy, motherfuckers. Hi, Hack. Hack, get your check-in. How are you doing, Hack? Her name is Samantha, and she is the legend. Oh, period.
Honestly, tier.
Damn, there's so much booty happening in my chat right now. Not complaining.
Like,
Yeah,
if you're
shake
not
that ass.
that's
Damn,
like that.
Stars.
Are you having a
Star-
fun time?
Star said, shake that ass. Picked up her fist. Hello, Momo Jojo. Hack, how was your Saturday? Hack, use your command. We have your command in this chat.
Okay.
Exactly. Shake it right now. Oh, it's a pig. Amanda, please.
So what I'm hearing is we DC.
I don't mind the pig. Wait, we don't like her?
I can't stand the wig.
Oh, okay. Boop, that's new. That's what I thought. I thought she was a booper, a snooper.
Because some will give you that illusion and then they'll like still tunnel you out.
Stop
So
using
I'm like,
biddies to gigantify.
help,
Gigantify.
Mama.
Okay, boo, I need to go. Bye, Kevin. Lily, have fun at dinner. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Oh. So
she
thank you
scared
for
the fuck
playing.
out of
Love
me.
you. Amanda's letter is on timeout right now, by the way. Oh. What does Amanda use? Condoms. Yeah, everyone use a condom. Practice safe sex.
Exactly.
Safer sex.
Oh.
Safer sex. Use prep. I won't. Oh, Momo. Oh yes.
Oh.
Sorry, I read that out of order. Damn, she put a helmet on you and everything.
You know, she dropped me right under the hook just to put the
Oh, I
helmet
see
on.
her.
Like, you could have did that like under the hook. Not under
See,
the
I
hook,
like
at the end.
1v4 because then when you get hooked, I kind of know where you are. Also, one more thing. Shows close by Survivor Aura when she's sneaking.
Oh, when she's being a sneaky snake. Oh, no, she's
damn.
coming.
I lost her. I don't know where she is. Oh, I see her. She's creeping.
Where's she at?
She's creeping around this playground.
Oh, she's tiptoeing in her door.
Oh, girl, the tunneling.
And this is why I hate pigs, because these are the pigs that I get.
Girl, you don't even know where I am. Damn, she dashes through on her swipe. Can I get a whiff? Can I get another whiff?
Ooh, I just didn't get off her wig.
Oh, damn. Oh, I'm savable. I'm savable. Sable, please. No. Hi, Kevin. Oh. I know. Who put that truck there? Oh, she's still near me? I think she's in Maine.
Oh.
Oh no, yeah, she went
that's
through
actually
Maine.
weird.
Okay, I did try to take myself off hook. Just the
Okay,
once.
so what do we say about that?
She's camping me though. Like my bar is going up. She's just walked past me.
Oh yeah,
She's
see
out
her,
front.
she's
out
out in front of me.
now. Yeah. Thank you, Pingus. No, Pingus. I have to do my helmet.
Wait, where are you at?
Getting a trap removed, or trying to anyway. Sable
Okay,
just
I'm gonna,
brought
like,
her to me.
go- Yeah, I was about to be like, I'm gonna like die in front of you and change the trajectory of your life. but
Dude,
honestly-
Sable, what are we doing? Sable, I know you can see it. Why did Sable do that? Pig's lower back has to be trashed. Crouch walking. I know, she's just on her knees. Going to lurk while you finish cleaning? Okay, Star, thank you for lurking. Sable, wait, Sable, what are you doing? What is Sable doing?
I have no idea. But I'm out of that match, so I win.
Like, Sable really... I think Sable's the reason I'm dying.
Oh well, yeah, they're on PC too. Hold on. Okay, you get it off with this one, Trust.
No, it didn't work. Sable's the second killer. We all saw that, right?
Yeah.
Well, GG's. Sable, put the flashlight down, girl. Put the flashlight down. Well, what do we learn? That DVD is also a competitive game where people are competitive.
Yeah, I
Right. You're like, I
got words I want to say.
You know what it is?
Because
They'll be this
we're at-
difficult
uh-huh.
on stream, and then in 2 hours when I get back on and I ask you to play when I'm not streaming,
Nothing.
they'll be fine. They'll be so fun
Mhm.
and not sweaty at all.
Everybody has like joy and whimsy in their heart.
Yeah, when I'm not live.
We'll have the best time. Oh, who's this? Who's this diva?
Ooh.
Arilla. Wait, what is this? Okay.
Ooh, I could be Arella. Let's be Arella. We're just changing skins based on the
Yeah, we're just being
who's
all
our lobby
Arilla,
with
period.
us.
Yes.
Let's go. She got the memo.
And she was just like, oh, I need to be a baddie too. And like, you know, that's you. Oh, so I'm stupid as fuck. And I opened up my capture card upside down.
Oh, what are you
Is
capturing?
Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon.
Yes.
Under my umbrella. Hey, Miggy, what's up? Miggy, get your check-in. How are you doing today? It's so good to see you. Welcome in. Hey, cutie, how are you?
Let's work together.
Yes, 3 times.
Honestly, this is kind of tea where we all have something that matches another one in the lobby.
Yeah.
Oh.
Always
So
forget to
it's demo
check in.
dog.
How are you? No, yeah, it's okay. It's okay to forget. Oh, I see him. Come here, puppy.
Alright, and this will have to be my... Because you said you're going to the 3-hour mark, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this will be my last one.
Okay.
Okay, you better eat.
See, this is why we like when we the regular pub matches. Oh, I got clipped on the hay. I got clipped on the hay bale. Ow. Yeah, we're gonna play a few more matches, and then I'm gonna go eat dinner. Excuse me. Before Ryan yells at me for not eating.
And well.
Again. What you making us? Well, I ordered a torta, and I just haven't eaten it yet.
Yeah, no, you're supposed to eat when I said it's against the law to not do it. Oh. Diva,
What
stand on the
kind?
palette.
It's a torta with carne asada, and it just has a bunch of like, it has the works in it. Thank you.
Don't piss me off. I did it a second too late. No, a second too early.
Ah, why? Why are you here?
Hey Diva, let's get you off a hook. Let's vibe.
Grilled carne asada or breaded? Oh, it's grilled. Grilled carne asada. I love tortas. Me too. Guys, I just got tunneled on 5 gen. Good to see it. Granted, I was right in front of him. Maybe it wasn't a tunnel. Maybe it wasn't a tunnel. I was just trying to save teammate. Stop that regression. Who told him to be back there? You know?
Why would an interdimensional being
Be on the hook
anger
he
be
just
back
hooked.
there?
GG's, I'm the killer. Momo, Monte, don't play with me. Don't play. Monte, how are you?
Leave me alone, you freak. Okay, hold on.
Get your ass in that hook. I was peeking Fortnite. Peak was... Oh, we have to switch games too, huh? Peak was interesting. Honestly, the roots map is so hard to get through. And then Fortnite was also interesting, but I haven't played Fortnite in so long that I know I'm bad at the game.
Oh, period. He left me. I was eating him up.
Yeah, he came for us.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring him to you.
No, it's okay. I just got scared. Oh my god. He's gonna come after me and share for the kill.
I don't get that, Diva. We're at like 4. Okay, I'll take it. I'll go down for you. Run, Justin. Okay, see, there you go. Okay, so he's taking me by you.
Yeah, I see. Oh my god. Is it really like this? I need my conviction. I'm coming, Ryan.
Leave me on hook. I'll be fine.
So next weekend Overwatch, I'm gonna download it tonight for next week, I promise.
Oh, you're an Overwatch girly? Hold on.
Yeah, I love Overwatch. I love Overwatch, which is why I think I don't like Rivals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I like the original content more than I like Marvel content. Monte, are you gonna coach me? You and Ryan? Coach me together? I thought you already downloaded it. Well, you see, what happened was...
Oop, get him on
I
there.
stopped the download. No. No! He doesn't give a fuck about my teammates. Oh my god! Why is he taking the chase over here? On my death hook. Like that gen was 99%.
Hold on, give me a sec. I'll go back and I'll touch it.
Well, yes. Good. I'm ready for the coaching. I can humbly say I'm really good at Overwatch, so I can coach him. But Monte, you're good at every game. Like, you're also good at DVD. Thank you.
Popped
So
in his
happy
face.
you popped it.
Ah.
Oh my god. Are you taking him downstairs or running around?
Yeah, I made him drop down. So I'm taking him back upstairs. Oh, I have nothing. I have nothing.
Nothing.
Oh my god, you freak. Why were you just running behind me?
I'm scared, guys. He knows exactly where I'm at. Oh no, 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 he's on them. Okay, cool. DVD and Overwatch, that's it. Other games I just do what I can. Honestly, I feel like you're really good at DVD. I always feel like I'm holding you back.
Okay, so she brought him to her.
What are we doing, teammates? Thought we wanted to live.
The Survivor's Run Bond Challenge, I don't know.
Oh my god,
Oh.
that's what I get for not paying attention.
Diva, okay, here, I'll heal you, but let's just focus on Jen because we need to pop this. Come upstairs. Not, through the portal. Oh, never mind.
I know where you are, though.
No, no, touch the gen. Touch the gen, Diva. Because while he's in chase, we can just go ahead and run this.
Yep.
Or while they're in chase, yeah.
Cause owie, I think we need to stop. Cause ooh wee, Monte, be nice. I'm just a baby. Just kidding. I know I shouldn't have missed that check. I missed so many checks.
Here, thanks. Okay. Okay, so they're gonna get hooked by that door. Or are they bringing them farther away from the shack door?
Oh, it's basement shack. Yeah. Okay,
Oh, you know, they're coming
we're up here. Yeah, yeah, we see.
They're
We see.
freaking around.
I'm with you. I'm right behind you. He put his blue hole.
Yeah.
Did he see me? Patrolling now. Oh, because he thinks
Yeah.
we're gonna go for save. Where's the other door? Across? Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
across the
teammates
map.
going to the other door. I'm on the other side of you. I'm sure you can see me.
Yeah, it looks like he's mainly protecting that side.
Yeah. He's looking at that door though. He's going around. He's
I'm
going.
running forward,
He's
I'm
up-
running forward, I'm running forward.
He went through the vault. He went through the vault.
Okay, okay, okay.
Be quick. Be quick.
By the time that he...
Yep. Go to the other door.
Taking vault.
Go, go, go.
Honestly, it would have been smarter for him to just teleport over here.
Yeah. We did it! We did it, team! Wait, wait, wait. They're still there. Here.
They're still there. Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. Run, 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 run.
Are you full? No, it's just me and Ryan, but I think it's this last game. I'm gonna play one more just to go a little past 3. But I'll probably be playing later, Monte. Honestly, I might just end here. Actually.
Wait, where? Okay, so she didn't get out.
Who didn't get out?
The one that we went into base before.
Girly. Conviction! Why is she crawling? She could have gotten up with conviction.
Yeah, I'm. Oh god. But thank you so much, Justin. Thank you for the.
No, thank you for playing with
game.
me. Thank you for playing.
Of course, of
Reminds me of a
course.
story I
Have a great
once read.
night.
Good night, Ryan. Monte, did you want to? I'll play one more if you want to play. Otherwise, I was gonna end stream. Yeah. Okay, last game, guys. Last juego. Titties. Big mama, big mama. That's so real. Honestly, T. Yeah, Jane is giving Mama Morton. Big mama. Alright, last game, guys. Will we get the 4 out again? I think so. With Monte on the team?
Stay alive. All of you.
I'm the head lady for my ladies of the night. Oh, yes, exactly. Oh, it's a ghoul. Ooh, whiff. Monte, never so close. Okay, Justin, I see you. Hi, Wolfie. Okay, Wolfie, can we be honest? I'm about to raid out to your friend Kim because I saw that she was live. So I'm gonna raid out to her after this game. This is our last game, but I'll text some people after to see if y'all want to play some games tonight. Oh, I left Discord chat apparently. Allegedly. Were you raiding your friend Kim?
Hope that
Her
hook
name's
isn't
Kim, or
rusted.
is it Kimmy? Because he went right for me. Why is he tunneling me? Guys, what are we doing? right, well, got out of that one. Oh yay, she's a queen. Okay, yeah. I haven't ever really been in her stream. But I'm gonna raid out to her, I think, and then hang out in there while I eat dinner. And hang out with a new friend. It's the way Wolfie ignores me on the weekend when I'm the most free. Oh, Plactazzi. Wolfie, mi querido, te extraño. ¿Cómo estás hoy? He's on Monte. Monte with the flashlight. Stop! I was like, me? The nice warm weather? Ooh, has it been warm by you? I mean, Miggy, it could be you. Miggy, are you raiding? I mean, are you streaming? I don't know what gen to work on. I'm just running around like an idiot. Like, oh, they're downstairs. I'm not. Yeah, I didn't. How are you doing though, Mickey? What are you up to tonight? Oh, that's why you slowed down. Guys. Ooh, to get tunneled. Oh, we love to see it. We love to see it. Justin can delete that clip. I don't know if this Guys, I don't think we make it out of here alive. Cause he's coming right back to Hook. Yeah, I see you. No, see, he's coming. Oh my god, bro. Thank you, Monte. Can I get a whiff? Thank you, Monte. Hi, Vox. You're just in time for the last game. I know I streamed so much earlier than I said I was going to. But I had the time today and I really couldn't rest. Like I was feeling really restless. Monte, wait, can I heal you first?
I owe you.
Just so I can get my conviction. If I need it. No, it's okay. How was yoga? We played Peak, and then we played... Okay, wait. Vox, Wolfie, Monte even. Do you guys play Peak? Why did I scream? Oh, he... Never. Vaulting? With the Mori too? GG's. I guess. GG's. They get out. I know. Give him the 1K. I know. That's for the homies. Everybody get out. Get out. We got out the last game. I will say, overall, these games felt way better than the game I played, the Fortnite games I was playing. LOL. I love to see it. I love to see a killer try. GG's, Monte. Thank you for trying to save me. I appreciate it. With that, that's gonna be our last game of the evening. Everyone, thank you for being here. Thank you, Rosa and Anxiety for the raids earlier. Like, thank you, Kevin and Rosa, for playing with me and Monte. Honestly, stream is the best part of my weekends, okay? And I really appreciate hanging out with everybody here. I only do this to hang out with you guys, and you guys make it worth it every single time I'm here. So I really appreciate y'all, and I always have to say that at the end of stream. I love, showing y'all all my appreciation. I appreciate all of y'all's time and your support, and I don't know, just sacrificing your time to keep me company. It means so much to me. I really appreciate it all the time. We're gonna raid out to one of Wolfie's friends, or a friend I made through Wolfie. Her name's Kim, and we got some games in together with Wolfie. Wow. We got games with them on Wolfie's stream not too long ago. So let's go hang out with her. I'm gonna eat some dinner. I'll probably get back on later too. Not stream, but Star, Montes, Sugar P, Ronnie, thank you for, yes, I will have an amazing dinner. We love you. No, I love you guys. Like, honestly, it's just so much fun being here. Have an amazing dinner. Thank you so much, Wolfie. Gracias por estar aquí conmigo and hang out with me. Thank you for stream. No, thank you for being here, Star. I'm glad we got to keep you company while you clean. Thank you so much, Momito, for being here. Love you so much. All right, yeah, let's go hang out with Kim. Kim is a vibe, and we're gonna see some incredible 2VA gameplay, if I do say so myself. I hope everybody has a good night, and I guess I'll see you guys Friday. I hope everybody has a great week, and I'll miss